So I'm listening to the radio the other day, right? My whole family's riding down the street, and this song comes on the radio. I've heard this song 100 times. I've played this song 1,000 times. But for some reason, I guess because me and my wife were in the middle of an excellent conversation, and I did what any great husband would do. I completely zoned out and was listening to this solo. That's another story. But this solo kind of drew me in, and I heard this lick. And he played it again, and he played it again, and he kept repeating it. And I was like, man, I've never paid attention to that lick. That is a really cool lick. And then it hit me. Why have I not paid attention to this lick? Because it's an underrated lick. It's not Eruption, and it's not Heartbreaker, which are awesome, but those are ones you can find anywhere. There's 100,000 videos on both of those songs out there in the YouTube world. I thought maybe it would be a good idea to kind of, pay some attention to the underdog a little bit. Because there's a bunch of licks and a bunch of guitar players out there that just kind of get overlooked. Not everybody has the Jimmy Page and Van Halen status. They may be just as good a player, but we just don't think of them. Or at least they don't come to our minds at first. So I thought about this, and I thought, you know what? There's a ton of licks out there that are great, that one might even consider to be the dopamine or the dopeness. So I thought maybe I should put together a video of what I think are the top 10 most overlooked dopest riffs. So I did just that.
The top 10.
It's like dope.
So before we jump into it, just a reminder, like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff that has to do with this social media stuff. And tell your friends to do all the same things that I just said. It'd be really helpful to me. I appreciate that. And make sure to shoot me some comments below if you agree with my top 10 or if you think my top 10 is insane the membrane, which it might be. So let's get right into it. Number 10. Coming in at number 10 is going to be the song that I heard on the radio that day that made me have the idea to do this. It's a song by the Atlanta Rhythm Section called Spooky. The guitar player was named Barry Bailey, and this lick is a really cool lick. Now here's the thing, the lick is kind of going to be treading on some polyrhythmic ground here. Alright, he's going to keep a pattern going, but it doesn't quite round up. It just keeps overlaying and overlaying until finally, we resolve it. And it's a cool lick, and it's also going to use this really nice flat 5, or as some like to call it, the blues scale note. Alright, and it's a really neat idea, so check it out. My number 9 lick for the most overlooked dope licks is going to be by Mr. Terry Kath from Chicago. Now I know this is a famous song, and you could be like, well Caleb, how can anything on 25 or 6 to 4 be on the most overlooked list? For me, I'm just going to tell you, it wasn't until I had to play this lick that I went, whoa, that's not a normal lick. And what we're going to do is it's going to be the descending lick that he does. Now it's really staccato, but it's it's a descending lick that happens going from high note to low note. So normally it's really easy for guitar players to descend going on one string from low notes to high notes, like da 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 da. That's pretty easy. But going da 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 da, where basically you go ring pointer and then your ring has to come where your pointer is and your pointer goes back again. If you follow what I'm saying, it's a really complex thing to do, and it's pretty fast actually. So coming in at number 9 here, Terry Kath from 25 or 6 to 4. Alright, my number 8 pick is by one of my all-time favorites, Mr. Jeff Beck, and it's off the 1975 Rough and Ready album, a Beatles cover, She's a Woman. Now if you go into the solo section, there's a lick Beck plays, and it's always just totally twisted my ear every time I heard it. I was like, that's a really cool lick. In fact, I would say that it doesn't really sound like a Beck lick. It sounds like something that would come out of more a bebop school of playing. But I will tell you this. I didn't really capture the Beckness of the lick, so you need to go listen to it. I'm going to give you the example. I think I played a little more right on top of the beat, and Beck was like way dragging it. I I don't know. There's some things you can capture and some things you can't. I don't think I really did this lick justice. So check mine out, of course, but then go listen to the actual Rough and Ready and tell me if you like that line. My number 7 is by a guy who probably gets put on the top of every guitar player category list, and there's a reason. It's because he's amazing. But it's Mr. David Gilmour off the 1977 Animals album. The song is Dogs, and this is the final solo, which, by the way, go ahead and listen to all the guitar work in Animals. It's really kind of amazing. It's great work, from the whole step tuned down guitars and the strange chords and the strange sequence of chords and all the moving over changes that Gilmour does. Plays in a very untypical Gilmour kind of way. Anyways, this lick is a descending whole tone scale stacked in third harmonies. So it's 3 thirds on top of each other, all descending in whole tone fashion. It's a wild, wild way to end a solo. Check this out. All right, number 6 is going to be a little more of a raw riff. Okay, this is going to be from Mark Farner from Grand Funk Railroad, and this is just going to be basic hammer on and pull off to an open string. And the crazy thing is it's going to ascend in chromatic fashion. Now that's fine and dandy when you're down here on this end of the fretboard and you're pulling off to open strings, because that interval's not so wide from the open string to the note you're pressing. But the higher it gets, the wider that interval gets, and kind of the wilder the lick sounds. All right, so my number 5, let me just go ahead and start out by beating you guys to the punch. I know you're going to hear this and be like, dude, there's no way that song should be on the top 10 overlooked anything. It's one of the most famous rock songs ever, and you're right. But I think what it gets known for is more the intro than maybe this little in-between lick that happens. The song is Sweet Child of Mine, the guitar player is Slash, and the part is right when he leaves the nice melodic solo and they go into Rock City at the very end. What you want to note is that the 5 chord for the E minor that they're going to is B. And one of the really cool things that Slash does in this lick is he plays a B Phrygian dominant mode. So he puts the flat 2 on top of that, so it's got the B and the C right next to each other. And then he also puts the major third in the D sharp, which is like the half step away from the root of where you're going. So it has lots of nice tension that he builds up. Possibly one of the reasons that it gets overlooked is because he engages the wah-wah right then, and you don't really clearly get to hear articulated exactly what he's playing. I know that every time I play this lick live, before I learned this, every time this section of the song came up, I just kind of made my way to that high note. You know, I think most people do that, where it's just like yabba dabba yabba dabba yabba dabba yabba dabba. It's like nobody knows the difference. But once I broke it down, I was like, man, that's actually a really sick riff. Check this out. Number 4 is also no stranger to any top-ranking solo lists, so you may give me some flack about it, but I feel like this is a very overlooked solo in general, with some of the coolest lick and some of the most far-out lick ideas this guy's ever used, and it's Mr. Kirk Hammett from Metallica. The song is The Shortest Straw. Now, it's off And Justice for All, and if you go listen to it, this is some of the wilder playing Kirk's ever done. Now, on the example I give you, the only real way I could make sense of the lick to get into it was to play the previous line. So the first line you hear is not going to be part of this lick. It's going to come after. The first line is a very Kirkism kind of thing, where it's just a yabba dibba yabba dibba yabba dibba yabba dibba. He does that on a lot of things. The lick starts after that, when Kirk goes up and does these major third descending lines. It's a wild, wild thing. Immediately met by a 2-octave arpeggio of an E major chord and a B flat minor chord. So this is like tritones apart, really, really wild sound, keeping in mind that, if anything, shocker, this song is going to be in E minor, right? Because it's basically dancing around this E minor and G, E minor and F kind of thing. So for him to outline the major third there is really wild, and then to go to a B flat minor arpeggio and then to double it, it's a really weird way to end a lick. Very cool on Kirk's part. I'm not sure what he was thinking when he did it, but I like it. Check it out. Okay, my number 3 is a deceptively painful lick to try to play and to play right. It's the lick Scuttle Button from Stevie Ray Vaughan. This thing is an animal lick, okay? It's pentatonic minor scale, but it's the way that you play it. It's the way you have to go down and get a high string open and then come right back up and get the B string open. It's a pain in the butt, guys. This is an amazing lick. Check it out. My number 2 lick is going to be played by who I consider to probably be the godfather of shred. Okay, this guy was doing stuff that was neoclassical influence before that was even a thing. And that's Mr. Ritchie Blackmore. The song is Lazy off Deep Purple's Machine Head album. It doesn't sound like much because of how clean he is. It just doesn't sound like there's a lot of effort or intensity going into it. But I challenge you guys to learn how to play it, because once I learned how to play it, I was like, sweet heavens, this lick never stops. And he just keeps rolling out notes after notes, and it's this whole triplet pattern of but it never ends. And you're just like, mercy, Richie, how'd you do that, pal? It's really cool. Also worth noting, this riff comes over the key of F. Now, for you guitar players out there, it's not E minor or A minor. But the only way Richie gets this dope lick is because it's in the key of F. So you got to work to whatever you're handed, guys. I know F may not be everyone's pick to go play in. It is for keyboards and horns and stuff, but not for guitars. But Richie goes and uses that open B string as the flat 5 to get his blues note in there. And then he uses the open G as the 2, and he pulls off and hammers on from those notes all throughout the lick, and that's the way he gets the kind of rolling effect of this lick. Check it out. Okay, lastly, my number 1. I'm going to tell you, this lick I did not have to make a backing track for. I had to make all those other ones. This one comes in a section of the concert where it's just this guy playing. And I know what you're thinking. This is Eruption, right? No, it's not. This is Dickie Betts off of Live at the Fillmore. The song is You Don't Love Me. And part of why this may have gotten missed is because it is a almost 20-minute song. And this lick comes way deep into the song. I'll tell you this, I don't believe that this lick is human. I'm just going to tell you that. I'm not really sure how Dickie really did this lick. I got as close to it as I could. I heard it, I slowed it down. I know that the notes are right. Guys, it's only 3 notes. It's only 3 notes, but it is so stinking fast, and I don't know how he did it. But I will tell you this, he may have had a little influence. That wouldn't shock me. But Dickie's not known as a speed demon. So this lick came as quite a shock to me when I heard it, and I've been baffled by it ever since. So I took the time to learn it. And I'll tell you, all these other licks, yeah, I had to learn how to play them for this video, but they didn't really give me any trouble. I just learned them and played them for the video. This lick right here, I had to work like an hour or two just to try to get up to where I'm at on it. This is a very strange lick. So anyways, my number one, Mr. Dickie Betts, take it away. That makes me tired just looking back at it again. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Shoot me some comments below if you agree with my picks. If you think I missed something, teach me something. Tell me about a lick I may have overlooked. I'd love to know. Make sure you like and subscribe. Send it to all your friends. Feel free to leave comments about anything. Maybe next time I'll put a video together of the most famous licks. And then you could probably quote them as I go. Alright, thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time. Hey y'all, thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. See you next time.